In this section, we talk about writing to the console. In interactive use of the C# program, you can just type an expression and immediately see the result of its evaluation, which is fine for testing out syntax and maybe playing as a simple calculator. However, in a regular C# program run from a file, like our sample C# program that we discussed earlier, you must explicitly give instructions to print to a console or terminal window. The term sort of depends on your operating system. Terminal is certainly used on a Mac, and console is sometimes, or DOS or some other term is sometimes used in Windows. Anyhow, this is the same sort of a window that you see when you're running C#. We get to the actual printing. This is done with a function with a long name, Console.WriteLine. Here, this function WriteLine is in the class console, and when you use a function in a different class, you need to put the class name, a dot, and then the name of the function inside that class. So that's hence, to be complete, we need this long name, Console.WriteLine. And thereafter, like with math, in parentheses, after the name of the function here, like we have here in parentheses, you can put a parameter. Now here, unlike with the math functions you are used to, we have a string parameter. The types are totally arbitrary here. In C# we can set up functions that use any sorts of types, and strings are fine. So anyhow, if we were to call this function, you'll see the result. It just prints out exactly the string that we said to write and puts it on its own line. It's also possible that we, create a string a more complicated way. For instance, here's another C# sequence where I declare an int variable total, give it a value 5, and then again we have this Console.WriteLine function, but the string, it's just an expression that we need here, and so it can evaluate something first, so we have all together, and then we can concatenate on the value of total, and so here you see the result all together, and we tack on the value of total 5. WriteLine has more complicated uses that we discuss later under the string format operation if you follow this link. Here where we say write line, it makes sure that you advance automatically to the next line after printing the text. This is like when you press enter, or if you prefer the name, the return key on your keyboard. You go on to the next line. Now, you may not want to go on to the next line, so there is a variant, Console.Write, without the line at the end. And it prints the parameter exactly, nothing else. In particular, it does not go on to the next line after printing your string. The statement at time approach in the C# program is not real good for illustrating the differences, but we can fake it here if we use one trick. Here I set myself up in C#. I can do Console.Write. Okay, and let's just print 1 for simplicity. And I can put more than one statement on the same line to make C# do them both at the same time. So let's do Console.Write. This time, let's say we'll print the string 2. And semicolon, and now see what happens. And look what happens. We printed the 1, and immediately after it on the same line, we printed the second part. And because I said write and not write line, when it's done executing this and we go back to the C# program prompt, that appears on the same line. The next section we go on to showing this off in a real program.